Hello, it's Opal, and I'm going to go over the 401 and 3400 install. It's really not too difficult, it's actually rather easy. And we'll go over through everything from tail to setting up the servo and gyro together, setting your limits, and setting it on the remote. Alright, for the 3400 install, I installed mine in the stock location. No mods. The only mod I did was I reversed or switched or flipped the servo mount. All that did was make a little straighter shot down the tail boom. Gives, a better line. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you install on the tail or not. As long as the servo's there, connected, and the rod is set to the same length, doesn't matter where you install it. Some people say if you install on the boom, you get better weight with the bigger battery on CG. This is where I chose to install it. Works very well. For the 401, it's rather easy to install. You just duplicate what you've already done. How the 110 was installed, it's pretty much the same. Except that the 110's servo plug plugged into the device versus this one has an extra cable which you just plug it into that. Same thing. The gyro and servo line will go into channel 4, and the yellow gain line will go into channel 5. Once you have everything installed, you're going to go into the gyro menu. You're going to set this first number. Just for this time, it's best to do what I'm about to tell you. Set the 0 setting something above 50, and set the 1 setting something below 50. Alright, once you do that, we're going to go down to setup list, and we're going to go to reverse. Oop, wrong one. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to verify that your rudder is operating in the proper direction. Alright, next we're going to go over plugging in the battery and making sure that the 401 is activates in the heading hold mode, and we're going to verify center on our servo and go on to setting center on the tail. Alright, this next part we're going to go ahead and plug in your battery. Alright, when you plug in your battery, the 401 will flash, then become solid. That means it's set in heading hold mode. Alright, now if you take your little flap gyro switch and you switch to number 1, since it is below 50, it will go off. There you go. And this is what you call rate mode. Alright, this is how, in this mode is when you set center for your tail. Alright, go ahead and go back to heading hold. Alright, I'm going to rotate the helicopter around here. And what you want to do is you want not to install the servo arm yet. You want to install the servo arm once you center the servo. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and flip that down to rate mode. Now your servo connection point here is now centered. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and install your arm as 90 out as you can in this direction. I would install the rod on the ball before you do this. It kind of gets, if you install them the way I have here, it's not enough space. Get your fingers in there to try and install the rod. It's up to you. I used, out of the 3400, I used the small one versus that one that has 2 holes in each side and it's a force point. They're roughly the same hole length. I just thought that this one looked a little better. It doesn't matter. I've used the old one at first. They work both the same. Alright, so now we're going to go install this arm as 90 as we possibly can. Alright, just get it on there, position it just right, and push it on. Alright, there you go. And go ahead and put your screw in. I'm going to leave mine out for now just so I can keep moving on. Alright, so once you got that on 90, now you take your helicopter, go back here to the tail. Alright, now we're going to verify that the tail is rotating in the proper direction. Alright, if I put in left input, the blades, the trailing edge of the blades should point left, or the slider should move in the opposite direction that I pushed. See, if I go right, slider will go left. If I go left, slider will go right. If it's not doing that, just go ahead and switch the rudder around, and it'll move in the proper direction. Alright? Alright, now I'm going to be going over centering the slider. When we call centering the slider, it's centering that much metal over here, right here, that much amount of shaft, and the amount of shaft over here is equal. So what I do is I disconnect the servo rod, and I use my hand on the servo control part, and I move it until I find my center. Alright, having problems grabbing onto it. There we go. Sit and I look, and that looks about center. See that? Even amount of shaft spacing on each side exposed. Alright, so what I do there is I leave it in that position, I rotate it over, and I adjust the rod to line up with it. Alright? It may need some fine tuning a little later, you know, a half twist here and a half twist there, but you know, this is a good way to get in the ballpark. Alright, so let me go ahead and connect that back up, and I'll be right back.